Welcome to today's Daily Walk in Wisdom. This is an exciting time, a time in which parts of you can grow that have been waiting to grow all your life. We're in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 10. He has made all things beautiful in their time, and he's also set eternity in the hearts of men. I remember reading Hans Christian Andersen's The Ugly Duckling when I was young. A mother duck hatches her eggs, and all of her little ducklings are so cute and cuddly as they're waddling along behind her, all except for one that is awkward, gawky, not cute at all. Some would say ugly, and he gets picked on by everybody else and gets laughed at and bullied to the point where he runs away. Just disappears. He's lonely and he's isolated and he's out there full of self-loathing because he thinks he's the ugly one. And then one day, his compulsion to have society, to have friends, to have people or other ducks around him, it compels him to rush upon a group of swans. And when he lands amongst these swans, he's amazed at the fact that they accept him. And he just thinks this is wonderful, but he's confused. Why would they accept me? And then one day he catches his reflection in the water and he sees that he's turned into a beautiful swan himself. It's one of the all-time great stories. It speaks a lot about human nature and human society and what we're all like, but the reason why I'm sharing it with you today is because this is what Ecclesiastes is telling us about. Ecclesiastes is saying that God makes all things beautiful in their time, and that's what the story of the ugly duckling is all about. That there comes a time where the ugly is made beautiful. When you come into your time, that's your time to shine. No business looks the business when it first begins. No marriage has everything it needs when it just starts out. No church looks like the spotless bride of Christ today. But when Jesus returns, well, he makes all things beautiful in their time. There will be a transformation, like caterpillars turning into butterflies. He makes all things beautiful in their time. To enter your beauty pageant, you've got to pass through certain tests. James tells us it's not so much how beautiful you look on the outside that counts as what is going on the inside. It's a tremendous insight, really, that he gives us, because how we are on the inside affects our outward appearance, our outward demeanor. It can even change the way our face shapes itself over the years. So if you're mean-spirited and fearful and complaining and critical and arrogant and full of anxiety and crazy, then it will poke itself out through the pores of your skin. You can't hide it. If it's on the inside, it will come out. Similarly, if you practice tranquility and altruism and selflessness, then your inner condition will change the way you look. And such beauty is transformational. Philosophically, beauty is considered one of the three transcendentals, along with truth and goodness. In other words, beauty causes us to transcend the confines of material things, and it connects us to heavenly things, to the invisible, takes us from the visible into the invisible God who is in heaven. This is why Simone Weil died very young from malnutrition, because it broke her heart, even though she came from a wealthy family. It broke her heart to see so many people starving in the world that she felt that she couldn't feed herself the luxuries that her home could provide, whilst those around her were going through such terrible malnutrition themselves. She ended up dying of malnutrition. She was also a heavy smoker. That didn't help. She was very clever, very smart, mathematician, just a brilliant woman, and a mystic, someone who got in touch with God. She found a mathematical script for proving that God exists. Anyway, I digress. Simone Weil had this brilliant insight. She said that man's fascination with beauty is in reality his search for the incarnation. So you have to think about that, because Jesus becoming God, becoming flesh, and man looking for beauty will find the beauty that he's looking for in Jesus. Okay, so the teacher talks about beauty, and then immediately he mentions eternity. So God has set eternity in men's hearts, he says. He's been talking about beauty, and then he mentions eternity. So here we've got a statement of fact. Have you ever wondered why people are always searching for the fountain of youth? It's because God has set eternity in men's hearts, and it's that thing that draws us after beauty that is actually causing us to want to get a hold of the eternal nature of Jesus. Freud said the reason man invented God and religion was due to our fear of death. But he was being far too simplistic. He wasn't by any means a fool, but he's being far too simplistic to take that leap from our fear of death into belief in God, because this can't describe the condition of every society throughout time. In other words, the belief in God does not prove or corroborate the ubiquitous fear of death syndrome that everybody carries with them throughout their lives. The only logical answer of why we believe in God and why we believe in eternity, in the desire that we have to live for eternity, is that God has set eternity in men's hearts. If we're continually at odds with the notion of limited time, doesn't that indicate that we were made for a place beyond time? In other words, we're made for eternity. This is actually called the ontological argument. It says, if I have a need for something, then that need must exist. If I get thirsty, there must be water. If I hunger, there must be food. If I need love, then there must be a lover. So when my heart spontaneously, freely, purposefully looks beyond itself and the limitations of this world of time and space, then such limitless time and space must exist. And the only reasonable explanation can be that God has set eternity in men's hearts. Think about it. If God has set eternity in your heart, then limiting yourself, your thoughts, your hopes and dreams solely to things that happen here on earth is to sell yourself short, and it will make your heart hard. And ultimately you will live an unfulfilled life, because it's not for this world that God has set in your hearts. It is for eternity that God has set in your hearts. God bless you. We will see you again tomorrow for some more wisdom from the book of Ecclesiastes.